And those watch list and dashboards trigger alerts for our investigative team like Fidel and Alan to take a look at. It alerts them to kind of anomalies or spikes in coverage of certain content types that they've put into the Media Cloud platform, and then that prompts them to go off and look for the deeper investigations that lie underneath that data alert. And so what Media Cloud does is it lets us do, once we've identified a narrative, such as the example up here, which is about how is coverage of Russian and South African military agreements, how does that play out over time in South African media? It shows you there how where the spikes are. When you see a spike, you can say, okay, something's going on that the media have noticed. Let me go and have a look at what that could be. What it also does, Media Cloud, is it lets you do analysis between topics. So you can say, okay, how is COVID being covered in South Africa versus Kenya? And would it just be COVID? Of course, it would be COVID with a bunch of other search terms. And I think I spotted Alan doing a talk on Boolean search terms and how to construct them earlier. So it's that kind of structure we use to monitor the different kinds of coverage of similar subjects in different countries, or it can be in different newsrooms and so on, because we can draw down quite effectively on this. So a source is basically any organization that publishes digital news content. So even though we focus on news organizations, if you decided you wanted to look at government publications, for example, and segment that out, that can be done as well. Okay, now I'm going to try and go to my live demo. And let's just hope it works out. Just give me 1 moment. Okay. Joseph, can I ask you if you can see my screen that says Understanding Africa's Digital Democracies?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Great. So this is the live civic signal. We also have load shedding, as we call power cuts in South Africa, scheduled for half an hour's time. So if it hits early, do forgive me if I disappear. So this is the front page of Civic Signals, and Media Cloud is divided up into 3 parts: Explorer, Topic Mapper, Source Manager. Media Data is another whole project we have, which is where we have a research department and there's a team of data scientists, data analysts, who map African media ecosystems, also I think in 54 countries. So that, in other words, they're the ones who develop the data about what kind of newsrooms operate in which countries, how they're funded, what are their kind of affiliations and that kind of thing. So if you go to Civic Signal Explorer, this is just a rough look at what that kind of search interface would look like for you. So this is a search that I did when I was trying to understand in South African local government elections context. I was trying to understand if misinformation being pushed by smaller political parties in South Africa, misinformation around kind of xenophobia and that kind of thing, if that had an impact on the coverage that they got in the news. So this is just a kind of a rough top-level search we did, which takes the political parties and then it searches just for what kind of coverage they get. And then what Media Cloud can do is a bunch of things. It can, and again, I'm not going to teach how to use it. It's actually very simple to use. I just want to show you what it can do. And if you have an interest in using it and partnering with us on something, then please do contact Alan or myself. What Media Cloud can do is this. It can show you attention over time, so you can see how these topics are covered. So this is how the DA, one of our parties, was covered. This is how the ANC was covered and so on. It shows the total attention. It gives you sample stories. So you can go there and look and see, okay, these are actually the stories that were that that featured my search string, and you can drill down and take a look at what that story actually is. Yeah. Then it also does an entity analysis of things like the top words used in relation to each party. It tells you, it gives you a cloud about how the words are used together. So you can look at, is there a kind of a conversation going on around some of these topics that I should drill down into, which will identify a whole separate kind of avenue of exploration. And remember, I'm doing this for political parties, but you can actually, you would be doing it, for example, for religious extremism. You would be looking at, are these alert words that I've put in, alert strings I've put in, are they featuring, are they spiking? If a type of hate speech that you've put into this platform suddenly starts getting a lot more coverage in media, you'll get a spike, an alert, and you'll be able to see, okay, this is something I need to look into. And remember, this is for digital media, the kind of stuff that Fidel and Alan were talking about would be social listening, whereas this is actual kind of media listening, digital media listening. Okay, and you can compare top words and all kinds of things like that. So it's a really, really sophisticated way of analyzing media. The media we analyze are in things called collections, and so these are the types of these collections are based around countries, but you can put up your own collection and say my collection is based around kind of tabloid media in 3 countries or whatever you want. So here's an example of what you would see under the source collection for Nigeria, for example. We have 509 media sources that we are tracking, 509 news media sources. It shows you the kind of languages we're in, and it shows you, kind of what media types and so on if you drill down. We also do this in Amharic and French as well. And then, oops, something went wrong. Okay, I won't show you that one. I think I left it loaded up for too long. Okay, so that is basically what Civic Signal does. Here's just a quick example of a case study. We wanted to look at media coverage of Sputnik 5 vaccine in South Africa because we wanted to see why, what the kind of prevailing narrative was from different citizen or civil society groups and different political parties. So tracking Sputnik 5 coverage over time, suddenly we noticed a big spike. We wanted to go look, so that was an alert from the watch list. There's a big spike in coverage of Sputnik 9 vaccines, what's happening. We went and looked and discovered by looking at all the stories that they mentioned one of our political leaders, and wondered why suddenly. Then we tracked the coverage of the political leader Julius Malema and his comments on vaccines over time, and there weren't any. And then so we wanted to understand why is he suddenly talking about that. And it turns out that in fact one of our populist parties had latched onto a Russian misinformation trope around the fact that the South African government was not legalizing the Sputnik 5 vaccine for use because they were in the pocket of big pharma in the West. So that's a very kind of crude description I'm giving you of how we use the Media Cloud platform to understand that something's going on in the misinformation space. So that is all that I have for you in terms of my quick demonstration. Does anybody have any questions for me? Joseph and Alan, I'm not sure how we handle questions, but if there are any, note I have 1.5 minutes. So if there are any questions, please could you let me know?
Thank you so much. One of my main questions either via the chat or I'll drop them on your DM on Slack.
Sorry, you broke up a little bit, Joseph.
So
you say if there are any questions afterwards, you'll just DM me on Slack and then I'll answer them later?
Yes, if there are questions, I'm going to drop them on your DM on Slack.
But shall I stay live to answer them?
Yes, just stay live for about 2 minutes.
Gotcha.
All right.
Hello. Hi. Okay. Do you have a question? Okay. Yeah, I see we have one question here.
Okay, I wanted to ask, since I think, Alan, you mentioned that the tool wasn't free and then we could do a demo with our laptop. I don't know, is it like this is another tool entirely, or we're given access? I don't understand how we're able to.
Perhaps just while I'm waiting, if people can still hear me, do please reach out if you'd like a personal demo and training on this Media Cloud platform. Our regular trainers are very good. They can set you up in half an hour to 45 minutes with your own account and get you started. And it's a really super valuable tool to kind of keep your finger on the pulse of what media of how media is covering certain narratives. And as I said earlier, it's a really great investigative tool to map how digital media are covering something with how subjects are being covered on social media and who's covering on social media, and does it relate into the mainstream media coverage as well.
Did you hear me? Okay,
I think we'll need to mute this as we speak.
Can you mute your own? Okay, that's.
So I think that is okay. So yeah.
Okay, I was asking if the tool was free, because I think Alan mentioned earlier that the tool isn't free, and I think it costs an amount, and then you wouldn't be able to give us access, and then during your illustration we were able to see a different tool entirely. And then is this if this is like what's it called, a demo, whatever, can we use it subsequently for our media work outside of the Code for Africa fellowship?
Another question? Okay. Chris is talking, just time to wait for that question.
Okay.
Can I go?
We have another question. So just get the questions so you can answer them all at once. Can you hear me? Yeah, I was saying it's better you get all the questions, then you attend to all of them. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. I want to make a request that, considering the nature of this, the issue you raise and what you have taught us, I want you to go a bit academic. Can we have a kind of step by step, and then when we now try it, how available will you be? Because I could see it got to a point, it's like I got confused, and then I found myself later. So I don't know if you can just help us to simplify this technical aspect of it. Thank you.
question? Okay. That's it. So your question was about access to the tool, right? Okay, so Chris, the first question is about access. Do I have an answer?
I was joking about my short-term memory. Thank you for believing that I can't remember 2 questions. So the first one is, I think the tool that Alan was talking about is Meltwater.
Yes, yes.
The tool I'm talking about is our own homegrown built. And in fact, one of the people who helps build it is in Abuja, so could possibly even give real-world training. Our one is free. Our one is there to help newsrooms to be able to do great investigations. If you decide, yes, this is something I want to use, then you get in touch with us and we will set you onto a project which allows you to use the tool to make your project work. So it's no cost. It's something that Code for Africa does for newsrooms. And you can use it for as long as we keep the tool running, which should be in perpetuity. We add something like 20,000 stories a day to the tool in all over Africa. So it's pretty powerful. Then the second question was for me to simplify what the tool does. What it does is it pulls in thousands and thousands, well, it's millions now, of news stories from all the different news organizations we cover across Africa. You sit down in front of the tool. The way the dashboard is set up allows you to say to the tool, tell me which news organizations are covering, let's say, xenophobic attacks in different countries. Which news organizations are using these particular words when they cover xenophobic attacks, which are using other words? Can the tool tell me, who the people being quoted are in the news that are using these words? Can the tool tell me how does this evolve over time? Why is a subject suddenly spiking in news coverage in the countries that I'm monitoring? And remember, it's around 54 countries. Some we have more data than others. Nigeria is one of the big ones that we have. And then you can also use the Media Cloud tool to produce data visualizations of the things that you want to write about or investigate. So you can say, give me a data visualization which shows the top 5 news organizations that are talking about this particular subject. I hope that answered your question. Joseph, you could just check for me whether I've answered it properly.
Cool. Yep, so I think that's perfect. Key thing to note, the tool is free. Yeah, you don't need any subscription, you don't need to pay anything. All you need to do is go to the site civicsignal.africa. That is the website, civicsignal.africa. Once you go to that site, click on register for a new account. You only need to register your account. You'll be able to log in, and yeah, you'll be able to do your searches. That is all you need to do. Yeah. He's talking.
The answers. So
reach out if it can help you do the very necessary work of monitoring religious extremism. And also, of course, this tool can be used for anything else. So that's just the topic of this conference. But anything else you want to use it for, anything else that interests you, that tickles your investigative fancy, please do reach out to us. Thank you.
All right. So that, I was hoping we'll be able to do a roundtable today, but I think time is really not on our hands, unfortunately. It's 5 p.m., I think, almost 5 p.m. Or are you interested in doing a final roundtable? I see we have a divided response on that. All right, so I just want to pass apologies from one of our speakers. He had to travel today. He's called Jacob Zen. He was scheduled to present to us about unmasking Boko Haram. He's written a book called Unmasking Boko Haram. His Twitter account is Boko Watch, if you've ever followed someone who does that. Boko Watch, yes. Boko_watch. You can look at his profile and see. We'll try and see if he's able to join us probably tomorrow or the day after. Just we'll communicate with him. It's really interesting to see some perspective also from him, and then we can be able to see how that goes. For the Civic Signal tool, I think maybe we can also give you a demo probably tomorrow as we discuss other topics, like how do you actually search for these media articles, what data do you have, how do you look at it. So don't worry about that. Just make sure by tomorrow you have registered an account and you're able to log into the platform, and then we'll be able to do some searches on that. Civic Signal. Oh, okay.
So it's telling me that it has sent me. So I now did okay, password, it's not even showing up again.
So once you register on the platform, you'll need to confirm the email. I think they sent you an email. Oh, it doesn't send it. Okay. Just send me that on email, and then I'll forward to our technical team. But you should have access. I believe, I don't know if anyone had a challenge also registering today, but if you have any challenges, just let me know. Yes. So thank you so much. I think I'll postpone that roundtable to tomorrow, because many of the roundtables we have are actually tomorrow. All of you are going to present your stories, the ones who've published, that is. So you're going to tell us more about the story you wrote, how you did the investigation, what were the results, what's the impact, what is the challenge. So prepare to just discuss that, yeah? A high level, I think each of you will have about 5 to 10 minutes to just do a quick run through on your process. Al-Qasim here will be facilitating. I know he's done so much of the review of that. So Al-Qasim will facilitate one session, then Aliza will be facilitating another session. She's also read all of the stories you've published, so that will be a really interesting session, yeah? All right, so any final question, thoughts, or comments? I hope today has been interesting, yeah? I know those tools are very hard to learn, but once you learn them, you actually see the fruits of like the research you can do and the power of information that you have, yeah, on your hands, yeah? All right, thank you so much. I think officially I'll welcome Aliza to just do a quick, a quick comment about today, and and any other comments from her, and then we can, and also help us close the session for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Well, first of all, as Alan mentioned, I have read your stories, those of you that have published, and I really enjoyed them, so I'm excited to hear all of you talk more about the process a little bit more tomorrow. And I want to thank you today for your attention and your participation, and I look forward to continuing this discussion tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you so much.